Think you're reporting a scam to the FBI, but it's actually the scammer again? Tonight, how to spot fake IC3 agents and make sure you're on the right site before you click or pay. The cost of raising a child just topped $300,000. Next, how starting a simple family fund now can help you handle those big childcare and kid costs later. And are you sending your kid off to college this year? We've got the money lessons they should know before they leave home. Welcome to the Watchdog, where we protect consumers, share warnings and alerts, and help you save money. I'm Jen Pachano. We begin with a fresh warning from the BBB for Greater Cleveland homeowners. After this previous weekend's severe storms, the Better Business Bureau is encouraging people to proceed with caution when hiring cleanup crews and repair contractors. The kind of widespread damage we experienced often attracts what are called storm chasers. And while they may not be scammers, many of them lack local licensing, proper insurance, or the ability to stick around to honor warranties. They suggest you get multiple estimates, work directly with your insurer, never sign over your insurance checks to a contractor, and avoid today-only discounts or lower prices using leftover materials from another job site. Now to a scam that continues to grow in popularity because it's working. Jury duty scams. Missing jury duty can have real consequences, and scammers use that fear by posing as law enforcement to pressure victims to hand over money, personal information, or both. One woman is speaking out after losing $35,000. Our partners at Aging Untold show us how the scam works.
Where from you're speaking with Lieutenant Mark, first name Mark, last name Newman.
This was the phone call Christine, who we're only identifying by her first name, received on a July afternoon. It sounded official, it sounded urgent, and
it sounds so realistic.
But the man on the other end was not a police officer. He was impersonating one, telling Christine she had missed jury duty and now had to pay citations to avoid jail.
If I paid the citations, which they were trying to give me, failure to appear in court and contempt of court, if I paid those, then the judge would dismiss my case.
Christine says she was told to meet a bond agent and pay thousands of dollars. Then the amount kept growing. Eventually, she was directed to stop at 4 different banks to collect cash.
And they said, it's not a big deal, you'll get it back, just go to the bank.
Aging Untold expert Sam Craddock says that kind of urgency is exactly how imposter scams work.
They're looking for you to never get into your own executive functions and your own problem solving. They're hoping that everything you do is driven by the fear that they're giving you, and if they can keep you there, they can get you to do anything.
Christine says the caller kept tabs on her the entire time.
They followed my car. They tracked all the mileage. I had to keep telling them where I was and how much I'd gone.
Craddock says a real court or law enforcement agency will not demand immediate cash, payment apps, gift cards, or secrecy over the phone.
Don't call a number that they gave you. Call the number that you know to the police department, the local police department, to your courthouse, to whoever you know that manages the court system there in your community, and say, hey, I just got a phone call. Is this true?
Now Christine is sharing her story so someone else recognizes the red flags before it's too late.
Well, it's an unthinkable crime. Scammers going after victims a second time as they're trying to report that they've been scammed. The FBI is warning the public about scammers impersonating IC3. That's the Bureau's Internet Crime Complaint Center. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman shares how you can spot the red flags and make sure you're on the real site.
If you've been scammed online, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, better known as IC3, is one place to report it. But the FBI is now warning that scammers are impersonating IC3 employees to target victims again.
It's just like a horrible crime because you're victimizing people who have already been victimized, and that's probably the worst thing.
Paul Keener is a cybersecurity strategist with GuidePoint Security. He also says the scheme can also undermine confidence in a way for victims to report cybercrime.
If you're a criminal and you are trying not to get your threat network discovered, what would be one of the best ways? to make it so people don't trust the one tool that the public has in order to report all of these different types of attacks.
The FBI says the scammers use a variety of methods to trick people. Some victims receive a phone call or an email. Others are approached on social media through fake IC3 websites and AI deepfake videos. Consumers say these IC3 impersonators claim to have recovered their lost funds, offering to assist.
They request money in order to recover money. Just as a general rule, the federal government does not do that.
So remember, IC3 does not have a social media presence. They don't investigate crimes or recover funds through social media either. If you see that, it's fake. And if you need to file a complaint, type www.ic3.gov, like you see now on your screen, directly into your browser. With this watching your wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
The FBI also says be wary of online content that elicits strong emotion like anger, fear, and disbelief. Take a moment, verify that what you are seeing or hearing is true before you respond. Well, Walmart is putting their considerable tariff refunds to work for their customers. The retailer received substantially all of the $2.9 billion in tariff refunds that it was eligible for. So the company says they are now directing that money towards improving customers' experience by prioritizing investments in grocery and general merchandise. They plan to invest heavily in price because they say their customers need them to. Well, for kids heading off to college, the next few weeks will bring plenty of firsts, including financial responsibilities. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger has some advice for families before the semester begins.
If you're packing up your kids for college, it's time to prepare them financially for the transition. Tracking money is the foundation for every other financial habit. Start with inflows like money from work, study, a summer job, or family, and then move to the dreaded expense side of the equation. There are lots of apps, but a simple spreadsheet can also do the job. Next, while anyone 18 or older can apply for a credit card, they must have independent income to get one. Without that, anyone under age 21 must have an account co-signer. But co-signing can be pretty risky. Instead, parents can help kids open a secured credit card that requires a refundable cash deposit or add them as authorized users on their own accounts. That allows them to spend and build a credit history. One note of caution, if Junior goes wild, parents are on the hook for those charges. Finally, even in the age of peer-to-peer transfers, students still need a bank account. You can keep them at your bank and link the accounts, allowing you to keep an eye on what's going on and transfer money seamlessly. But it's important to review with them compound interest, costly fees like minimum balance and overdraft fees, and electronic bill paying. You can also encourage kids to set up automatic savings, directing at least 10% of their earnings into a savings account. A little financial prep now can help students build smart money habits that last well beyond their college years. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Well, if you've already graduated but have a federal student loan, understand that changes started July 1st will affect you, and it's different from the previous system. Dawn G. had a chance to talk with a national specialty consumer finance lender for another look at what the difference could mean for you and how it could help you make ends meet.
We took a look at the changes President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill would make for the federal student loan system some time ago, but now those changes are in full effect. Borrowers should now be evaluating and applying for new payment plans or recalculating what you will now pay.
So we've got 43 million Americans with student loans. They owe $1.8 trillion.
President Donald Trump's massive overhaul of the federal student loan system is now in effect.
We've got over 9 million people in the United States right now that are in default on $220 billion of the 1.8 trillion.
The changes brought on by the Big Beautiful Bill are expected to help streamline the program.
And we got about another 4 million people that are going to roll into default before the end of this year.
Jack Wallace of Y Refi, a specialized financial company, stresses if you are in delinquency or in default, It is time to talk to your servicer.
A loan is a loan. Okay, you need to repay a loan. It's not a grant, it's not a scholarship.
Borrowers in the past SAVE program have 90 days after they receive their letter, now that the new programs have started to elect one of the two plans that are provided by this new legislation.
If they don't do it within 90 days of getting that letter, the government's going to take away your freedom of choice on that one, and they're going to pick a repayment for you.
The changes also give you a chance to claim a discount of 1% to save money and get a little help rebuilding your credit because you won't miss payments.
You sign up by September 30th for their direct payment program, where you would have your monthly payment deducted from your bank account.
With this new legislation, there are borrowing limits for parents and grad students. There are some legal challenges to the loan limits still to be decided. Pell Grants for undergraduate students will remain the same.
Student aid, AID.gov, is where you go to keep yourself informed.
There are a lot of components to the new student loan changes now in place, and they look different for each borrower. The best thing you can do is go to studentaid.gov to inform yourself and look for help. If you are delinquent or in default on your student loan, don't ignore the problem. It is critical you begin to find a solution to the problem to avoid long-term financial damage. Reach out to your loan servicer immediately and start that conversation. Helping you make ends meet, I'm Dawn G.
Coming up on the Watchdog, a trending tech support scam took a stolen victim for nearly $400,000. We asked the scam squad what the red flags were that he missed. Welcome back to the Watchdog. I'm Jen Pachano, and we are asking the Scam Squad some questions here. So we're going to bring in Lieutenant Bill Vodich of the Solon Police Department. Some of these scams that come through to your department are really, really high dollar losses, be it an investment scam, a romance scam, a business invoice scam. But this one that caught my eye, a $396,000 loss. It just breaks your heart. So this man, 88 years old, reported fraud involving his bank account. He thought that he was contacted by Apple.
That's right.
Yeah, and it said there was fraudulent activity. I don't know why Apple would tell him about that or why they would contact him by the phone. You should know better, but what happened here, Lieutenant?
Yeah, our gentleman here in this case, he's a little older of an adult. He's 88 years old.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I hate to cast too wide of a net, but a lot of folks when they're that age, they don't understand some intricacies of computers and technology that well. Mm-hmm. And of course, there are folks that definitely understand it just fine. But what we deal with is mostly folks that are overwhelmed by it, and they get kind of tricked into it. So
they think they've been contacted by tech support or their bank and whatnot.
Yeah,
in this case, Apple.
Everybody recognizes Apple as computers. So, for them to say this is Apple and have it look realistic, that's how you get somebody's attention. And you couple that with being unfamiliar with technology and needing some help, you're going to be quick to kind of respond to the suggested help that they give you.
Right. And they're offering relief. They're offering help. I mean, he thought he was being transferred to the FDIC.
Right. Yeah. So then it's a distraction kind of technique, and they throw so much junk at you that it's overwhelming, and they use the names of things that are legitimate. So
Western
FDIC,
Union, right?
Western Union's a real thing, and that's ultimately how this gentleman lost his money. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they use the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Mm-hmm. They deal with scams a lot. That's kind of one of their goals. Mm-hmm. And let me transfer you. There's going to be phone calls. There's going to be transfers. There's going to be different organizations, and so many by the end of it that you can't even really remember exactly how you got from start to finish. Mm-hmm. And that's why, like for us, it's hard to investigate it because the people don't even really know exactly.
They're
so
ghosts.
We kind of have to. Yeah. And plus, they're ghosts. The suspects are not probably local individuals. Rarely does it involve a physical person picking up money, but that does happen too.
Over the course of 2 weeks, into a new Western Union account. He
Yes.
transfers $396,000.
So what's happening there is, this is actually pretty frequent. In order to protect your funds that are compromised, what you got to do right now is we got to make a new account for you. It's your account, and this is how we're going to do it. Go to, and then fill in the blanks. This one's Western Union, so you have to go to a physical location, go to a bank, get money. I don't know if the scammer stayed on the phone with the guy at the time when he went into the bank or whatever he had to do to get the money. But he eventually goes to the Western Union location that usually they'll even tell you where to go because they have a computer. You
They've
can figure that
scouted it
stuff
out. They know. We'll help you. I think that's a really good point that you made earlier was with people of that generation sometimes, they are craving a person, a customer service. So if somebody's saying, "Oh, let me transfer you," or "You can talk to this person," as opposed to going on a website or going to text this or whatever, the fact that they're being offered direct personal customer service is a real valid reason as to why this keeps happening.
Sure.
I think that makes a whole lot of sense.
Sure. That and the exigency of things. Hey, you got $300,000 plus at risk. If you don't do this now, you're Mr. 88-year-old gentleman, your retirement savings is going to be compromised. Well, then what are you going to do? Oh my goodness, I got to do something about it now. So this gentleman did give away his money, thinking that Western Union money transfer was going into his new account, which is going to be secure for him and only accessible to him.
And it wasn't, in fact. All right, so tell everybody if encourage everyone to speak up if you can about anything that might be suspicious and how they should report.
Yeah, if you're dealing with a situation where it seems something just doesn't seem right, involve us and come in and talking to you. There's no harm in it. We're not necessarily going to make a report if you don't want one. We can offer you advice.
That's good.
There's lots of other places you could even go to other than the police department for advice. A lot of communities have senior centers. Our senior center staff is pretty well educated on this on this topic, and that's one of my spots that I'll stop at and chat with those folks from time to time.
That's good.
About what's going on in the community. Yet still we do miss some folks, and they become prey here to some of these predator folks that are using these scams. So we do the best that we can, but that's one thing to do. You definitely want to involve people. And if you have a parent that's reaching some older ages and have an opportunity to talk about this kind of stuff with them, that's a good idea for people that do understand this. And me personally, probably I'm not going to fall for this stuff. I would hope after being educated in it, but you never know.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant.
Yep, you're welcome.
Have you started a family fund yet? Coming up, we've got details to help you plan for the rising cost of childcare. All right, parents, brace yourselves. A new LendingTree study says raising a child to age 18 now costs more than $303,000. From childcare to rent and groceries, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa looks at what you can do to prepare for some of those costs.
A new report from LendingTree finds the price tag on parenting just hit a new milestone. Nationwide, the 18-year cost of raising a child grew to more than $300,000 after tax exemptions and credits. That works out to nearly $17,000 a year.
We all wish that we didn't really have to think about finances and costs when we're thinking about having kids and starting or growing a family. But with numbers this big, you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't at least take the time to consider those costs.
Matt Schultz with LendingTree says the cost of raising a child can also vary greatly from state to state, which is why he says if kids are in your future, even 5 or 10 years from now, it could be helpful to start a family fund.
Giving it some thought and considering it in your own financial planning today is a really good idea, because a little bit of money put away in a high yield savings account towards that family fund or whatever you want to call it can really serve you well over time.
Schultz says it's easy to feel powerless and helpless, but One of the best things you can do is start planning and saving at an early age. He says, put it in a high-yield savings account and let compound interest work its magic. With this watch in your wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Time for our recall roundup now. The Consumer Product Safety Commission recalling this off-road motorcycle due to risk of some serious injury or death from a crash. The rear brake can crack or break, posing a risk of some serious injury. There are about 21,000 of them that were sold. The CPSC also recalling these Yeti 3000X power stations due to risk of serious injury from burns and fire hazards. The power station's circuit board can overheat, and there are more than 46,000 of these that were sold. Well, that's it for this episode of the Watchdog here on 19 News. Now, every week we bring you the very latest scam alerts, fraud reports, recalls, and trending consumer news. It's each Wednesday evening at 6:30. Now, if you'd like to catch some previous Scam Squad stories, you can find those on Cleveland19.com under the News tab. I'm Jen Pachano. Thanks for watching.